Hello and welcome to another edition of This Week in ITFC History. My name is David Diamond, and along with the Renegade Statline, we'll be looking back at the names, the games, the wins and the draws, and the losses from this week in ITFC history. And Stat, well, first of all, how are you, mate?
Fine. I've just about got over the fact that you introduced me as Statwan. Is that sounds like some sort of Star Wars?
Yeah, I like that. Gogwan's brother.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But,
which reminds me, before we go in, now I'm great, thank you. But secondly, we had somebody was asking about two players, whether they were related on Twitter, and I copied you in, and you rightly pointed out that he was his great uncle. Who were the players? Can you remember?
No, I can't. But what I do remember was we had much fun on the last, or might have been the last episode or the one before, about going through teams' names and the names that follow on the team sheet. And I thought we had Baxter Jefferson, didn't we? But there was a beauty in the under-18s game, wasn't it? That Daryl Jones found. Was it viral Messuria or something like that?
Yeah, that's right. Viral Messuria. You won't want to catch that.
Oh dear, honestly,
I was looking at an old program. I was looking at loads of old programs the other day, and one of them, the best I could come. I wasn't looking for that, but then I found it. Hill Walker.
Hill Walker's quite good. Tell you what we have got coming up. We've got a Daily Greenhoff. I mean, I think that's pretty good. and a Stepney Forsyth. That's not bad.
Not
viral Messuria or whatever it was is certainly the best one so far.
Anybody that can find old programs or whatever and find
it's a great new
names.
Game.
Yeah, Baxter Jefferson. I think he was the 32nd president of the United States of America.
If he wasn't, he should have been.
Yeah,
he's fantastic, Baxter. Anyway, mate, enough faffing around. Where are we going first?
Well, where we're going, before we start where we're going, I think...
we know where we're going.
Yeah. Is it fair to say that this will be the last championship recorded this week in ITFC history?
I mean, I think let's let the proverbial cat out of the bag. We're recording this on the Friday evening, which is the eve of the home match tomorrow against Birmingham, which, will basically seal our fate, and we will be relegated tomorrow. I think. Did someone say earlier? I think we are anyway, really, barring like a 20-goal swing, because Wigan and Millwall have got to play each other. So,
yeah. Who's in the bottom three at the moment?
Must be us, Rotherham, because Reading got a great point at Norwich, didn't they? I mean, I thought bloody Norwich were going to do it again, scored 2 late goals, but they got a bit of their own back, didn't they? Which was quite nice to see. 97th minute, great goal as well. So I think goal. So it's Rotherham.
So Reading, we could still catch Reading if Wigan and Millwall draw, because I think Reading are on 41. So if they lose all their games,
right, and we
win all our
games I know if we win all our games, we'll get 42. Okay, so it's not quite cut and dry.
But
so
this is us, the last one.
Yeah, it's us, Bolton and Rotherham, I think, at the moment. And it is gonna be sad. You said earlier it is gonna be, especially for long suffering supporters like both of us, and obviously I go back a bit further than you, and it's a shocker, really. I know we've all accepted it over the months, perhaps weeks, even the months since Christmas, probably, but. When it finally happens, it's going to be pretty horrible, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we've been through quite a few relegations, and they're not great. And suddenly, the season's finished, and you're still thinking, we got relegated, and then the fixtures come out, and for me, that's when it kind of dawns on you. Yeah,
you see, when are we playing Fleetwood? Oh, look, we've got third game up, Accrington Stanley at home. I mean,
yeah.
Anyway, come on, let's cheer ourselves up.
Well, let's go to a happier time. So we're going to go back to the 10th of April 1976. It's a Saturday. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff, and Town are at home to Tommy Docherty's Manchester United. How long was he a manager of Man United for?
A while, until he left under a cloud. I think he was found. How can I put it? He was having a relationship with a physio's wife or something like that. I'm sure I got that right. Hang on, I don't think libel case going to come my way, something like that. He was as my dad used to say, he was carrying on.
Oh, don't use that phrase anymore. I'm sure it wasn't the landlady of the Greyhound, maybe, because I heard a few things about her.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was. But yeah, apparently. And yeah, so that came to. I was going to say that's inappropriate as well. I was going to say that came to a sticky end, but I better rephrase that.
Let's move
that
on.
one as well. Anyway, no, I reckon he was there 4 or 5 seasons. I reckon. Yeah, yeah.
So this is a big game, Dave. You know, I think we were top 6. United are in top 3 or 4 or whatever. And
against that, what brings? Sorry, mate. What brings it home to me? Look at the crowd.
Exactly, 33,438.
They're bursting at the seams. I was there. I remember.
You could take 20,000 off that, and that's probably our highest crowd next season.
Oh, don't stop it.
Now, I read in a couple of reports and stuff that there was some crowd trouble, but it wasn't that clear. Did you get caught up in any of it?
I didn't get caught. I mean, I was 12, 76, 13. Yeah, 13. No, I remember the game. It was a really nice day, hot day. I remember the game. It was always trouble when Man United came. Man United back then were the best, well, arguably still are the best supported team in the land, and they used to take loads away from home. And yeah, there was always trouble. And I remember, trouble spilling out on the pitch. I've seen worse trouble. I've been closer to worse trouble down there, I think. I used to stand in Churchman's with pals back then, so I don't think there could be sporadic fighting up there. I don't think there was that day, but there were Man U all over the ground, absolutely, and massive police presence. Always a good atmosphere when Man U were in town, and this particular Man United side was a good side, full of well, we'll get to it, but some really, really top players in that side. And don't forget, this is their first season back, so they got relegated 2 seasons before, and the famous Dennis Law back heel that sent them down at Old Trafford, and they'd won. I mean, it's ridiculous. So they went down to Division 2, in new money, the Championship, and were still pulling, and started to win and won the Championship, and were pulling in like 56,000 at Old Trafford every other week. I mean, it was just incredible, So they were on a way. It was quite a young side. The nucleus of the side was quite a young side. Well, we'll go through the side. Go on, yeah.
We will. I've just had, while you were talking about that, I just had a text from Jules who was just saying that he can give me a full list of all of the reports of crowd trouble that day.
Apparently, I'm not sure who's involved, but he saw a lot of it. He was at
he was always at close quarters, but never involved. And
hang on, because he's just celebrated. I think he's just celebrated his 55th. I'm sure he won't mind us saying that. So he'd have been about 10. Oh yeah, he'd have been in the thick of it. Yeah,
he'd have been leading the battle. Let's have a look at the United team. So we got Stepney.
Yeah,
you can fill in the. You fill in.
So Alex Stepney. Yeah.
Forsyth.
Alex Forsyth. I liked Alex, didn't they? Yeah.
Houston.
Yeah, Stuart Houston, Ipswich connection there, was a former coach. Go on, my favourite player now, German newspaper. Yeah. Jerry Daly. You love that, don't you?
And I do, but if we play the other game, you could have a look that it was actually the one in Texas. You had the Houston Daily in the list of names.
Oh yeah, we did Houston Daily. Yeah. Daily Greenough, I think, is quite good though.
So I don't know who we've got. We've already named 11 players, but I think at the moment we've got Stepney, Bruce Forsyth, Houston, and Daly. Then we've got
that's Brian Greenough, so Jimmy Greenoff's brother. Yeah.
Where was Jimmy at that point?
I think he was there. He was certainly there, probably just injured. Yeah, he was. I'm sure he was certainly at United then. And certainly played in the cup final the following year against Liverpool. Maybe he hadn't quite joined yet, but yeah.
Buchan.
Oh, Buchan. Yeah, played loads of times. And this next guy, I always used to rate. Terrible injury problem. Steve Coppell, great winger.
Steve Coppell, yeah, he was a great player. McElroy.
Yeah, Sammy McElroy again, good player.
Pearson.
Stuart Pearson.
I always want to call him Nigel Pearson for some reason.
Yeah.
It's like the guy who got sent off. How many times has he been sent off? 3 times and 14 yellows.
Oh, Pearson. Pearson.
I thought, Nigel Pearson, that goes in my mind. McCreary.
David McCreary, yeah.
And Hill.
Gordon Hill. So 2 out and out. They're real entertaining side. 2 absolute flying wingers. So Coppell, very right-footed, so hug the right touchline, and Gordon Hill, I think they used to call him Merlin, like magician, all left foot, tricky wing. I think they signed him from Millwall the pre-season, when they won Division 2. Good team. So looking at those, you got Greenhoff, Coppell, Pearson, Hill, and I reckon round about that time those were England regulars. So, yeah, good side, really good side.
We'll go through the town team.
Yeah, because this is not the strongest.
No, it's not the strongest, and there's a player. When we get to him, I'll ask you about your memories of him and stuff like that. So we've got Cooper in goal, Burley and Mills as your fullbacks,
Fine.
Hunter and Padelti, centre halves.
Yeah.
Pat Sharkey.
Pat Sharkey. Yeah.
And I tell you what, Pat Sharkey had a great game. What do you remember about him?
I remember him just being a fringe player because he was stuck. So, looking at when he was playing then, he was stuck behind Talbot. Certainly he's not there that day. Colin Viljones not there that day. It may have been one of the seasons that Viljones. I mean, there was a whole season that Viljones missed. I'm not sure if it was that season or the season after. So it'd have been very much down the old pecking order, as they sometimes say. Here I would say here are 2 or 3 seasons maybe. Can't remember him playing more than a handful of games, maybe 10, 15 games.
Irish international?
I think so, yeah. I think Irish international, I think signing from Portadown or somewhere like that. Portadown or somewhere like that. And I think he went to somewhere like Oxford or Mansfield, something like that. He left probably at the end of this season. I can't remember. It may have been the next season. I can't remember him playing a great deal at all. But
won't ask you much about the next guy, Roger Osborne.
Yeah.
Mick Lambert, Eric Gates, Trevor Wymark, and David Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, great front two, Wymark and Johnson. Eric Gates is interesting playing there. Well, one of his I would assume, 1976, one of his very early games, very early in his town career. Yeah, again, yet to find that role that Robson found for him, behind Mariner and Gate, a few years later. But there's certainly not, so obviously from us, Beattie's not there. I obviously said Beattie's not there. Talbot's not there, who would be regulars. And Colin Viljones, you throw those in. So, certainly, that's not a patched up side, but, and obviously enough quality in the side. But, certainly not the first choice 11, I would wager.
So, the game, I think we finished in 6th and United were in 3rd after the game.
Just quickly. Oh, go on. I'll say this at the end because it's good. Because I think you might love this stat because I'm not sure this would have ever happened. You're going to love this.
It's game 38, so it's a 42 league season. So there's 4 games left to go. We're in 6th. Can you remember maybe you can explain to people how qualification for Europe used to happen?
Yeah. Okay. So the champions, surprisingly enough, played in the what was the European Cup, which we all now know is the Champions League. So if you won your league, the one side would play in the Champions League, and there was no league format. It was all a knockout format. There's no league format like it is now for the first 6 months or whatever it is. That was it. And the next down to 6th, you qualified for the UEFA Cup, as obviously we did frequently. However, there is a caveat to this season, which we'll get to at the end.
Right. Okay. Do you want to share that stat with me, or is that what you're going to?
This is a good stat. I think you're going to like it. So, we played Man United on the Saturday at home.
Yeah.
And, we'll get to the result. But the previous Wednesday, we played Man City at home.
And we beat them 3-0.
Beat them. Well, not quite. We're not quite the same symmetry. We beat them 2-1, but not quite the same symmetry. But there can't be many instances, especially at home. Maybe there could well have been instances over the years, obviously being in the same division where we played home and away, but certainly not 2 consecutive home games in the space of 3 or 4 days.
Against teams from the same city.
Yeah. I see you revving up now. I can see the stat machine's revving up.
Takes me back to 1987. I think it was November when we played Birmingham City at home, quickly followed by Aston Villa. I don't know. The correlation with this would be obviously Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday. Has that ever happened? But this is I couldn't believe it when I bloody hell. Nice one. I like that.
Right.
So let's go in. 33 minutes into the game, Town take the lead, and it's a great pass by Pat Sharkey. He's standing just on the touchline. He's not quite by the dugouts, but he's there, and he plays this pass out, and he picks Lambert, and it is Lambert scores the first goal, isn't it? Yeah. And suddenly when I thought, and he picks Lambert, and it's just maybe I hesitated because this is not a Mick Lambert goal that you'd imagine. This is a goal that would be befitting of a Champions League or whatever.
Good play. Yeah.
Lambert's what would you say, about 12, 14 yards out, but he's close to the byline, probably about 6 yards out from the byline, and he from the goal line, and he
instinctive, isn't it?
This
Yeah.
loop and volley that goes right over Stepney, up
It is Van
and down.
Basten like.
1988, yeah, just like that. It's a great goal.
Yeah, he's a great goal. Yeah, he's a very underrated player, Mick Lambert. I'm sure not by the players that played with him. Yeah, unselfish, good player.
The Cole Skews of his day. Sorry, even I struggled
well,
with that.
probably not, because he did score quite a few goals actually, and he did go round people and stuff. So no, I wouldn't compare him to Cole Skews at all.
But Cole Skews can say that he scored goals plural for it.
Okay, he can. Yeah. I think if you're comparing him with Lambert, you need to add another S on the end of goals for Lambert. I think.
Yeah, I thought you meant on the end of Skews.
Hang on. I've just seen a great one, Sharky Osborne. I'm sorry, that might be
Sharky Osborne. Yeah. Who would Sharky Osborne be? He'd be some guy who he'd be able to get you anything. He'd be down the East End. Go see Sharky Osborne.
He'd be like a sort of like a B character from Only Fools and Horses, wouldn't he?
Yeah, here comes Sharky.
Sharky Osborne. He sorted me out.
Well, then in the 78th minute, Tango 2-0 up. Sharky again. He takes a free kick and it's a standard Y-mark header, would you say? Stepney has no chance. We're 2-0 up, and then we're absolutely purring 5 minutes later in the 83rd minute. And as Jerry Harrison said on the YouTube clip I watched, that Will Woods try one of his benders, which kind of which made me laugh. Yeah. And the ball went into the box, and Johnson's got no defenders around him whatsoever, and he places it just past the advance and Stepney. But for me, that looked quite offside. I know you're saying that you were in the church stand, but
they were done by then. I think the fans were starting to get restless and eggy at that point, probably. Yeah.
Do you think that they just received Jules's text or whatever the equivalent was? Because obviously now that if there's football trouble, you organise it by WhatsApp or stuff like that. So how did they do that?
Probably a nicely worded letter to the chairman of the Man U Nutters Club or something like that. Yeah. I don't know.
We will meet you at 4:50 at Princes Street.
4:50 p.m. at Princes. Yeah.
Because football used to finish at 4:50, didn't it?
It is 4:40. I went to put sort of 20. Would it be 20? Yeah, 20 to 5. 4:40 really. 20 to 5. Yeah. Because it was only you didn't have the whatever they have now. 20 minutes for half time. 15. You had the 10 minutes, and it was over. Certainly 20 to 5, quarter to 5, game was over. I mean, Christ, now I could be watching Town. I'm following away or something like that. And you look, it's bloody 5 to 5, and they're still playing, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Today, like you say, we're recording on a Friday, so we tried to record this earlier in the week, but things got in the way. We had Town playing Brentford, then you went out to lunch with Ian Botham and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was great lunch. Yeah, he was on fine form. Yeah, got to have a little chat with him. Yeah, what a ledge, the guy. Yeah, sorry, we digress, but he's raised over 30 million for that leukemia charity. Incredible.
Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's suffering a bit. I think he's just had a back operation or something, so he was hobbling around a bit. But no, he's on good form.
I remember seeing him a couple of times when he played for Scunthorpe and stuff, and somebody said to me that he was also a cricketer. Was that?
I think he could play a bit. Yeah, I think if Slower listens to this or watches this, he'll fill you in on that. Yeah, I think he used to play a bit of cricket. Yeah. But you went in a bit of detail about his Scunthorpe career. Yeah, it was incredible. Yeah, amazing. But getting back to this, and we said about the crowd. Another point I wanted to make about this game was that. Maybe Man United they're following. Maybe I don't know if you got away tickets that qualified you for a cup final, because literally the previous weekend they played Derby in the semi-final at Hillsborough and beat them 2-0. So United were on their way to the cup final that year against Southampton.
Well, one of the things I was going to say about the kickoff was so this is being recorded on Friday, which is the 12th, and 5 years ago I think we played. Who do we play? Rotherham, Doncaster, and Chambers scored the late winner. I posted it anyhow. But that game kicked off at 3 minutes because it was the 25th anniversary, I think, of the Hillsborough tragedy.
Ah, okay, yeah, sure. 89. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, no, it can't be 25 years. It must be 30 years.
But yeah.
Oh no, 25 years. It was. Then. It was 30, yeah. It'll be 30 years this year.
30 years this year.
Oh my
God, it will be 30 years. Yeah. Oh my God, it will be. Mate, I can remember that as if it was yesterday. So they were on for the cup final, and this is where it leads. So this season they're on for the cup final. massive favourites against Southampton, huge favourites against Southampton. And we all know in cup finals, Sunderland, Arsenal, Sunderland, Leeds, I suppose Ipswich, Arsenal to a degree.
Yeah.
Arsenal were very much the favourites. And certainly this was perhaps one of the biggest of all time. Southampton beat them 1-0, which had a double-edged meaning to us, or I think the country perhaps pleased that the underdog won. However, if you're an Ipswich fan, it robbed us of our place in Europe, because the cup winners now going, I think, going the UEFA Cup now. They went to a separate competition back then, which was the Cup Winners' Cup. So had Man United won, they finished third that season. Obviously, Liverpool won the championship. They would have gone into the Cup Winners' Cup, and we would have taken our rightful place in sixth position in the UEFA Cup. But that scuppered us, mate. So no Europe for us next season, which was, I think, the only season blob we had in Europe for about 10 seasons, wasn't it? I think 11 seasons, something like that.
So who was the goal scorer for Southampton?
Bobby Stokes. Yeah,
Bobby Stokes.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
thank you.
I think he's sadly passed away.
Well,
he's no longer with us, Bobby Stokes. I don't think.
All right. Well, if he's no longer with us, we can't have a go at him that much, can we? So I don't know where we are. We're 25 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever. So let's actually pin a date on where we are at the moment. So we're now going. It's the 10th of April 2001. It's a Tuesday night.
Same day, yeah.
Yeah.
25 years on. God, 25 years on from that game. Exactly, to the date. Incredible.
To the date, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll ask you a question about that later. So, yeah, we're in the Premiership, and it's George Burley is facing Gerard Houlliers Liverpool.
Yeah.
Now, the game was supposed to be played on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I put a little question there, but were Liverpool in the Cup? I don't know, because obviously we then played on the Tuesday night.
Well, quite famously they were, because this was the season, if you remember, Liverpool just won every cup they entered other than the league. They won the FA Cup, they won the League Cup, and they won the UEFA Cup as well. And quite a famous semi-final that had the previous, so only 2 or 3 days before, a couple of days before actually, I think it was on the Sunday. This was on the Tuesday. Hence, we'll go through the Liverpool side, and you see there's 1 or 2 changes. It was a famous semi-final had against Wycombe Wanderers, when they just squeaked in, didn't they? 2-1.
Yeah, exactly.
Fowler scored, I think.
Yeah. Gerard Houllier, I think he's got an accent over one of his letters in his name.
All right.
So, quite sadly, I keep a spreadsheet of managers with accents over their names. Do you think I should get out more?
But really should.
Well, I tell you what.
Who else has got an accent over their name then? Give me another manager.
No, but I think there was it the Barnsley manager or something a while ago. I keep wanting to say I don't know. Jose. There was a.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And an
something
accent
like
over Z or something. Okay.
If I'm sure, maybe I've missed some in the past. So if anybody can just tweet me with it.
I reckon that Wolves manager has got one.
Nuno
Esperanto.
No, I don't think he has. Oh, he might have. Yeah, he has. Let's say he has, and he hasn't, and then we cover ourselves. Before we go into this game, now I didn't bring the programs, but what I have brought along is this thing called ITFC or Town Collectibles.
Yeah.
It was hand delivered to me yesterday by Alistair Ross.
Oh yeah.
Who is
your local councillor? Is he?
I don't know if he's a councillor. He's certainly an active participant in.
Oh, sorry, I take it back. I thought he was perhaps a councillor. I thought I read that.
He used to be a councillor.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. This is when we need to have the show live and we can phone him and say, Alistair. Anyway, I was going through some old programs and I found an old team sheet from a youth combination match in 1984. Awesome. So I knew he collected them and he came around and got it. But then he handed me this, which was it's a Ipswich Town Programme and Memorabilia Club. Okay. And this is issue 57. Contact Alistair Ross on Twitter if you want to get a copy. But they go on about all different things about programmes and cards that were produced for Josh Emmanuel when he was at Rotherham. Where are you, Josh? There somewhere. But there was a bit in here. There's some old photos. Some new photos in there, different things about the Ipswich Town Annual. What's it like?
Stuff you haven't seen, some of the stuff you haven't seen before.
But then they've got a section in here called recent eBay and auction prices from November
Oh,
2018.
here we go.
And one thing jumped out at me, which was the Accrington Stanley versus Ipswich Town recent FA Cup match.
Right.
Program went for £21.50.
No way.
Yeah.
Holy crowley. Really?
Yeah. £21.
Yeah.
That stood out. Some other ones that kind of stand out.
They print about 100.
Yeah, I mean,
must have been a very low print run. That's probably why. Must be. There was hardly anyone at the game. Accrington. It was like when they're like 4,000 at the game, there was like 2,500 Ipswich or something like that, wasn't it? It was something ridiculous.
Yeah, I think so. And I think we're probably going to move into next season into an age of when you should always get a program, because
I think you're probably
fewer
right.
people are going to go.
Yeah.
But but another thing that stood out, you could get the UEFA Cup final ticket. That went for £20.
I've got mine. Yeah.
Sell that £20 you got on there. The Lokomotiv Leipzig UEFA Cup home match in 73-74, the ticket's £23.
Oh.
Then you got things like the Suffolk Senior Cup final. So I'm coming to you in a minute. Suffolk Senior Cup final, Allwell Works versus Bungay Town in 60-61. My dad might have been playing then, don't know. At Portman Road, the programme went for £15.48. Did you ever play in the Suffolk Senior Cup final at all?
No, I was like 13th man, something like that. No, unfortunately.
Nearly, yeah.
Unfortunately not. No, never quite made it. That was when I was with Ransoms, but they got in it a couple of years. They got in it a couple of seasons. I played in, which is now at Portman Road. I played in a couple of Junior Cup finals, Suffolk Junior Cup finals, which they now play at Portman Road. But unfortunately, back then they didn't. Unfortunately.
One more. If you went to see Ipswich versus Arsenal in an FA Youth Cup competition in 96-97, there was a single sheet and you get £14.50 for it.
Have you got the names? Is there a picture of it? It was playing.
There isn't. No, it's just.
I'd like to see that. So see Arsenal.
So let's get back.
Nice one, mate. Where are we?
Ipswich, Liverpool in the Premiership, 2001. So this game coincided with the South Stand was partly opened. So the attendance that day was 23,504, which was the highest since May 1992, when we beat Brighton to win the Division 2 title or collected the title, win up as champions.
That was like 26,000 or whatever it was, wasn't it? Yeah. Fantastic. Brilliant.
And Alan Ferguson won the Premiership Groundsman of the Year. He picked that award up before the game.
Yeah. He was top when he used to win it most years, didn't he, I think?
Yeah. So a little bit of another trophy for us at the end of that season.
So I hope you added that to your spreadsheet, Kat.
Yeah.
Go on.
I haven't, but I should do though, shouldn't I? Yeah.
There you
go. So let's go through the Liverpool team. So Westfield's in goal.
Shopping centre. Sandal Westerveld.
Yeah. Carragher.
Yeah, he didn't play many games at Liverpool, did he?
No. Hippier.
It's good. Sammy Hippier was good, wasn't he?
He was a good player, yeah. Babel.
So was he, Marcus Babel, yeah.
Who's Ryan Babel?
He was like the winger, wasn't he? Yeah.
Vignal.
I think he's playing with. Is Ryan Babel playing for Fulham now? I think Ryan Babel's playing for Fulham this season. Yeah. I think that's Gregory Vignal. I want to say I don't really remember much about him. I know his name.
Never can't recall him even playing in this game. Paul Gerrard.
Yeah, Paul Gerrard. Yeah, goalkeeper playing on pitch.
Biscan.
Stevie G. I mean, must have been. Well, obviously the next season, probably only a couple of times he graced Portman Road. Although I reckon he played in that international, that Croatia game. He must have been playing for England then.
2003. Beckham played. Yeah, Lampard play?
Sure, Lampard put one in the top corner. I remember that. Yeah. Gerrard, if he wasn't, he probably should have been. If he wasn't there, he was injured because he would have been playing then.
Biscan.
Igor Biscan. Again, don't remember much about him as a player.
Murphy.
Danny Murphy, good player, wasn't he? Good pundit. Like him as a pundit.
Yeah, he's a good pundit, yeah. And his wife used to be in Hollyoaks, I think.
Right.
Not wishing to dumb it down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think so, yeah.
I don't know. Possibly. I didn't know that. But
Hollyoaks is, you missed it a bit. It's kind of a bit like...
It's a channel. It's on
like
channel.
Crossroads for you. You'll probably remember that.
Crossroads. It's all I know about Hollyoaks. I don't think I've ever watched it. It's set in Chester, isn't it? It's a soap opera set in Chester on Channel 5, I think.
Yeah.
4, 5. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah.
Ziege.
Christian Ziege, another
great player.
This guy's one of my favourite players, Patrick Berger. Oh,
Patrick Berger.
left foot like a hammer, didn't he? Oh, brilliant.
He was spicy. And Heskey.
Cheesy.
Yeah.
Emerald
Yeah.
Heskey. I mean, you can see. Look at the just the quality of the sub of the bench. It was only 2 subs, but bloody Dietmar Hamann and Gary McAllister. I mean, some quality there on the bench to bring on, isn't it? But like I said, so obviously seems like there was no Owen there. I'm sure there's other players that should be leaping out. Fowler isn't there. They should be leaping out at me. Would Fowler have been there then? Yeah, I'm sure Fowler would have still been there then. Obviously they've been given a rest after their exertions against Wickham 3 days before.
Now, the next lineup, the town lineup, is a team and a half, I think. So great team.
Yeah.
Do you think that this team that I'm going to list, do you think that they would have qualified for the UEFA Cup at the end of the 75-76 season?
It's a good team, Stays. Let
me go through it. So
but it's a great team. Go on.
Richard Wright in goal, Tights Bramble at right back, Macon at left back, Horizon and
do you know what? It is a player. I always like Chris Macon. Proper fullback when he proper fullback. Yeah. Herman. Brilliant.
John McGreal.
Yeah.
Jermaine Wright, Magilton, and Holland and Rooser. And Armstrong and Stewart up front.
Yeah, again, look at the bench. Scoey on the bench, Scowcroft and Fabian Wilderness, great team. And, well, the nucleus of the team that took us through that season and ultimately got us to finish where we did. Incredible.
So there's a couple of things about style. So this was our 32nd league game. And you mentioned it earlier. So Liverpool, from what I can remember, were happy to defend. They were coming to the game and didn't really want to lose because obviously I think they were just behind us in the league, and that's their third game in.
That's what I saw. I mean, going into this game with 6 games to go, we're third and they're fifth, for God's sake.
Yeah,
amazing.
And that was their third game in 6 days. And I think that they were quite comfortable for us to have the ball. We don't know what the possession stats were, but once we got into their half, they very, very quickly broke us down. Yeah, they just shut it. And we started going for the long ball a bit more. And then there was a lack of space for everybody on the pitch, but there was a chance. McGreal, he plays his back pass. I don't know if you remember it. And Ziga gets the ball. He's only got right to beat, but he drags his shot wide.
I was there. Yeah.
Rooster then has a long throw cleared out of the box, and Jermaine Wright's 30-yard drive is well saved by the
shopping centre in Stratford. Yeah.
And then so we're going at half time 0-0, and I think what I remember about the game was a feeling of annoyance, really, but also kind of understanding how much respect and how well we were doing. That Liverpool were coming here and giving us a fair bit of
deep. No, you're dead right. Yeah, shame they didn't do it the following season.
No, anyway, that's right. No respect there, was there?
No, it's brilliant. I remember, 23,000. I remember the atmosphere being a great atmosphere, and a bit like you, thinking that the game was itself, because of how Liverpool set up, was actually a bit flat. In the first half. Yeah.
46 minutes, so right at the start of the second half. I can't remember. Some people were still probably queuing up for their pie.
Definitely.
The Ziga flicks the ball on and Macon, I don't know, he appears to kind of duck a bit and Heskey's acceleration while it does the rest, and Wright comes out.
Yeah, lack of communication, I think. Yeah,
nutmegs him, which is always the worst, I think, if you're a keeper or even if you're on the field.
Oh yeah. But you see it happen a lot. Forward hits the ball early and goes through the keeper's legs. Yeah.
So the game was hard enough for us as it was at 0-0, but then we go to 1-0, and I can't remember how long we go through the second half, but Burley makes a key change here, and he brings on Scowcroft because he realises that the only way that we are kind of going to get through. No, it's going to have to be an aerial battle.
I don't know. I used that. I really rated Scowcroft, and Scowcroft was a great sub because he was so adaptable. He could play that target man role up front. He could play wide left and win balls. He could play wide right and win ball. He was such an effective player for us. That's it. Well, we all know he. Yeah, go on. Yeah,
he scored lots of goals for us, and then he went on to play for Leicester.
He shouldn't have left. You shouldn't have left when he did. But there you go.
Would you say he was one of the he'd be an underrated player for Town. People won't look
Very
back.
slightly, yeah, slightly. I think you look back on that and think he was. I think he was invaluable as a. Oh, he's more than a squad player because he would hold his own in the team. But
Yeah,
I think him. We've said this on the pod before, but that close season, him going and Wright going, and we all know what happened the following season. That was the difference. That made the difference. If they had stayed, I still maintain to this day, if they had stayed, we wouldn't have gone down. Do you? I just don't see it.
Well,
we wouldn't have done. So, you got
Serene.
Well, okay, yeah, well, no, yeah, obviously, but you get Serini in, Finidi, George, and they just weren't. Sounds odd thing to say, but they just weren't Ipswich players, were they?
So what you're saying is that Richard Wright and James Scowcroft were better than Matteo Serini and Finidi George.
In a team function, yeah, I do, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I'm gonna say individual 1-to-1. I'd say Wright's probably better than Serini, and obviously Finidi George, Christ, he won Champions Leagues and stuff like that. But in a team environment, and not wanting to upset. I know where you're going with this. Not to upset the sort of like the proverbial apple cart of the dressing room. That's what happened. There was just too much going on. A bit like this season to a lesser degree.
I wasn't surprised that you said that Wright was better than Serini, because obviously you think he's better than Paul Cooper. Right. So Scully then has a chance. He's got a free header that he puts back across the goal, and then we go into the 77th minute. So 13 minutes to go. Stewart's pass on the left. And Macon produced a searching cross which cleared the Liverpool defence and found Armstrong. He's coming in at the far post and he guides the ball past Westerveld. And I tell you what,
I remember that.
Yeah,
coming off.
But then, I read a couple of reports, and my memory of the game just seemed to peter out. And I think both teams. I think we were happy to think, well, we keep Liverpool at bay. That's another game ticked off.
They were happy with a point. I think. By that time, Liverpool had probably brought on McAllister, or probably both, and Haman, certainly Haman, and just really tightened things up. So you'd probably look at that and see they'd probably have brought Haman on for someone like, I'm not saying they did, but someone like a Murphy and maybe McAllister for a maybe Biscan or something like that, and just pass the ball around and kept us, you're right, at arm's length. But yeah, great point, great second half. I remember that, good atmosphere, and I mean, 5 games to go, we're still third, and incredible, really. I mean, that was what I didn't appreciate till I looked back at this season. I mean, I don't know how the season developed, but we had, after 3 straight losses in January and February, we're on a bit of a bad run, and we'd sort of lost a bit of that momentum. And this was like in the middle of a 9-game run where we won 7, drew 1, and lost 1, which was really the catalyst that that kicked us into Europe. Just incredible, wasn't it? And yeah, fondly look back, and it's 18 years ago. 18 years, for Christ's sake. I mean, I was saying, like end of next season, it'll be 20 years since we won at Wembley. How the hell's that happened?
Mad.
I know, absolute bonkers. But
if you could remind me about that again, because that coincides quite nicely, although not at the time. Well, obviously at the time as well, it was very nicely, but my wedding anniversary. So I'll have to remember that. We finished at third. We finished that game in third. Liverpool were 5th, and we had 53 points. Let's go to a time when this game, I absolutely loved this game. So it's the 11th. 11th of April, 1992. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff. John Lyles in the home dugout, and Kevin Keelan is the Newcastle manager.
Yeah, Kevin Keelan.
Little note here. So we're top, first of all, and we will always remain top for the rest of this season. But the referee, one of my favourite referees, Alf Buchs.
Alf Buchs. Yeah. No, I remember. Yeah, a real character, wasn't he? Yeah, I remember him.
Do you think he was a? Sorry, Dave. Do you think he was a real character because we seemed to do really, really well with him? As a referee,
you
always
remember him fondly, don't you? Yeah, that's right. I think it probably is that.
But also, this is 1992, which is a generation ago now. It was quite unique to see a man of colour being a referee. Do you think that was?
Yeah, no, it was. It sounds awful thing to say, but it was a novelty back then because you just didn't. There weren't any. So yeah, it was. Yeah, he was the first. I remember. He absolutely was, and a good ref. Not just because we always seem to do well when he was, but yeah, a good ref. Yeah.
Do you think that there are some people who say about Andy D'Urso and go, he was a good ref, always a good ref for us?
I'm sure there must be one club out there where it always seemed to have favoured them, but not us.
So 20,673 have turned up to watch a game, and I remember the Geordies brought a fair few. I think they might have had 2 pens in the North Stand.
And they were having
that day.
a terrible season as well.
They were.
Dreadful season.
Let's go through the Newcastle team. So we've got Wright in goal.
Tommy Wright, the goalkeeper, yeah. No, Ireland International, I want to say Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland, Tommy Wright was, yeah. Ransom.
Ray Ransom, Man City, full-back, like multi-millionaire now, isn't he, I think.
Do you think that my word is corrected Ransom to put Ransom down?
Yeah, you put Ransom, I saw that, but I know that's a statism, so that's why I went with it.
So let's not go with the rest of the names. Stimpson.
Yeah, I think that's Mark Stimpson, I think.
Mark Stimpson, yeah. Scott.
Kevin Scott, is it? Kevin?
Yeah. Howie.
That's Scott Howie. Lee Howie, he played for us, didn't he? That's his brother, Scott Howie. And there's his brother.
And there's a Steve Howie as well, isn't there?
Oh, no, Steve. Actually, that means Steve. Actually, maybe that is Scott Howie. Maybe that is actually Steve Howie. Why do I think Scott Howie? I think that's Steve Howie.
If you look at the names above, you got Scott.
Oh, the other player, that's what I'm going with it. I think
Steve Howie,
I think it's Steve Howie, yeah.
O'Brien.
That's Liam O'Brien, yeah.
Yeah. Clark.
Yeah, Lee Clark, yeah, player.
Great player. Peacock.
Yeah, Gavin Peacock, yeah, another good player.
Was he related to Darren Peacock at the time he played for QPR?
Along with the Ben Bloom hair. Yeah, must have been, surely.
Yeah.
Sort of half brother.
Yeah. This other name jumped out at me and surprised me that he was there. Sheedy.
What a player. Now there's left foot and there's left foot. So Kevin Sheedy had the proverbial left foot like a bloody wand, didn't he? My abiding memory of Kevin Sheedy is not a nice one. Is in that cup quarter final when he takes a free kick against Cooper at Goodison. And he floats one in left foot, and the referee disallows it for, I don't know. He took it before the whistle, took it for the signal, and he puts the ball down, and he takes exactly the same kick in exactly the same place, and just puts it a little bit higher. Absolute class player. In that Everton side, what a player! But yeah, I must admit, I forgot till I saw this that it went to Newcastle.
So that was 7 years after that Everton game. So I don't know what age Sheedy was at Newcastle.
Yeah,
but
I reckon he
towards
was
mid-30s.
Yeah, I'd say great player. So, well, obviously a couple of seasons before he scored against for your lot against England, of course.
Yeah, Brock,
Kevin Brock, I think that is. Yeah,
Kelly.
And David Kelly. I'm just seeing what we can get. I'm quite liking Sheedy Brock. I quite like. Do you like Sheedy Brock?
Sheedy Brock. What
Clark
about
Peacock? Clark Peacock's got that's pretty good. Scott Howie. That's where I was going with that anyway.
What about Ransom Stimpson? Shoe shop.
Wow, wait. What about the subs? Quinn Christensen. Oh, that's pretty decent. I love this game.
He would be an 80s action hero, an action actor.
Oh, he would. But I tell you, it'd be another act. Looking at the town side, it'd be another good actor, Milton Stockwell.
Milton Stockwell. Isn't that a line on the central line or something? That was Kevin Keelan's team, and Town we had Forrest in goal, Zondervan at right back, Neil Thompson at left back. Walk and Whelan, so old and young, centre half pairing, and then we've got Simon Milton, Stockwell, Dazelle, Goddard, Kawamia, Witten. If you were ever around in 91, 92, and you hear, Dazelle, Goddard, Kawamia, Witten, all you were thinking about is goals. How many goals are in there?
Goals. Yeah. And I'd say that was the classic lineup, of that season, other than perhaps Whelan in latterly because of Linnigan. I guess Linnigan got injured, I think, and Whelan in for him, and he hit the ground running because he scored. I think we covered these, but he scored 2 really crucial goals in the running, didn't he, Phil Whelan?
2 goals
I think in a week. Wolves, I remember. But what I see again, this season just came out of nowhere because this was obviously under Lyle, his second or third season, I think, and certainly before the start of the season, we were nowhere near favourites or anywhere near playoff candidates at all. I think we'd had a fairly average season the season before, below mid-table probably, and I don't think anyone was thinking any different here. But Lyle was canny, wasn't he? Canny manager, wasn't he? And I think, did he not sign? Was it the season before? Witten, I always used to think was a key player.
Great player. Great player. 17 minutes into the game, Newcastle take the lead. Now, one thing I want to say, Gavin Peacock, I remember he was a Christian, so he refused to play on a Sunday when Sunday football came about. So,
remember that.
Shame that this game wasn't on a Sunday. We might have done a bit better. Well, we might have done better than we did. So Lee Clark plays the ball into Peacock. He's on the edge of the penalty area, facing the north stand, and he's got his back to goal, and Whelan is with him. But then I think that's where Whelan just shows his maturity at that point. Peacock suddenly finds a bit of space. Whelan's lost him by about a yard, and he just turns around and fires it past Craig Forrest.
I just had a thought. Can we say, did Peacock open himself up?
He did. It was a lovely display. Can't think of any other.
We're wasted on here. Absolutely wasted on here.
I'll tell you what. So if you imagine, right, that there was a pyramid, right, and at the top of the pyramid, all the sides were the same, and a peacock laid an egg right on the top, right. Which way would the egg roll? Which way would it go?
I've no idea. I don't know.
I'll go on, guess which side. It's going to be
right side. Go on.
So let's say north, south, east, or west. Yeah.
North.
No, because peacocks don't lay eggs. Peahens do.
Yes, of course.
I mean, if that's not premium partridge there.
Yeah. Brilliant, mate.
Yeah. So where are we? 1-0. Newcastle are up, and in the 30th minute, Goddard's drive is battered away by Ranson, and he kind of we appeal. Alf gives it to us because he's refereeing our game.
He's a lovely man.
He's going to throw a penalty in for us.
Yeah.
Ranson just it's when you see the replay, definitely a penalty, and Witten, he places his penalty high into the left-hand corner.
I don't know. You see him hard as well.
Not sure what his overall record was when in penalties, but I would say. Yeah, I can't remember him missing many.
You see him hard. He's one of these players that sort of had a really hard side foot. Do you know what I mean? Side foot, but with pace. Didn't not necessarily placement and with pace as well. Yeah.
So that's 30 minutes, and I can't really remember much more about the game than the goals. But what I would say was that the atmosphere was buzzing, though. As you would expect with Kevin Keelan, the ball was going to be. They're going to be trying to attack and trying to win.
He loves that, doesn't he? He love it. He'll love it.
He loves
it like that.
Absolutely. And then
what we actually should say, Keelan had only been there like a couple of months. He'd replaced Ardiles back in I think in February, so he hadn't really been there that long.
Was he the catalyst, Keelan, when he was there?
Yeah. He certainly was when he was a player. When he first went there as a player in the early '80s, God, he was like a god on up there. And I think you're right, definitely. Yeah.
42nd minute, so we're going into half time, both teams at 1-1, but then suddenly Sheedy plays this great pass. It's about 40 yards, maybe 50. I don't want to exaggerate, but it's a great pass. And Peacock's on the end of it.
Yeah.
Forrest is a little bit slow to come out, I think, and when he gets there, he's made it easy at that point. He's hesitated, time he goes, and Peacock is just able to put the ball past him, and it's 2-1, and we go in at half time, 2-1 down. We are top. I'm not quite sure. Didn't make a note of where Newcastle were, but like I said, I don't think they were doing that well.
Well, I know Newcastle did. I had a look. Yeah, Newcastle were struggling. They were struggling. Yeah. They because I went the season. They went on to finish 20th. They were low.
20th. So we come out in the second half. 68th minute. Neil Thompson's got a corner again. When we talk about left foots with Kevin Sheedy and stuff,
delivers it though, pace,
Tomo, and you can see why Newcastle are where they are in the league, because Walkie comes in completely unmarked and he sends a bullet header past Tommy Wright.
Because that's not likely to happen at all, is it? I mean, they wouldn't have foreseen that at all, would they?
John walked for 20, at least we're talking about 15 plus years at that point of ghosting in at the far post or whatever and sticking a bullet header past the keeper. So it's 68. And then we get to the 72nd minute. Now, I don't know about you, Dave, But I absolutely love this season. Some great memories of
this is
going to
one
the
of the
away
best.
games. But on the
one of the best.
72nd minute
Yeah.
of the 11th of April 1992, I knew we were going to get promoted.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what happens? Stockwell plays the ball out to Witten, and Witten's on the touchline. It's fantastic. He finds it's something that when you kind of think about Steve Witten, the memory kind of says, yeah, the ball's been pumped up to him from a goal kick, and he's flicking it on.
Yeah, yeah.
Or he's got the ball on the touchline, and he's put a great cross in.
Across, yeah.
But what you don't expect is for him to be doing, having 2 or 3 players around them, having a Messi-like run to get the ball through. He threads a lovely ball through to Palmer.
It's a hell of a goal.
Palmer gets inside the box. You're looking across. Kiwamia's coming in. The defender's sort of stuck between the two.
Yeah.
And all credit to Steve Palmer here, because
awareness.
99% of people would have just had a shot.
Lost their head.
Yeah. And he just rolls it past into Kiwamia's path, who's 7 yards out, and he taps it in. And then Kiwamia, well, I remember North Stand,
little dance, doesn't he?
Yeah, going wild.
Brilliant.
Game finished
and in front of the North Stand. You're right. Yeah.
We knew we were going up. That was our 5th successive league win.
Well, this is it, and this is when you compare and bring it up to date with that lot up the road, as GB calls them. That it's momentum, wasn't it? 5th straight with momentum, and just as well as that got us over the lines. We didn't finish the season great. I think we only won one, which is Brighton, the very last game after we'd been promoted. Anyway, I think we'd lost the next 2. Got stuffed at Sunderland,
4-0,
I think. Yeah. Lost at Bristol City, I think. And then a couple of draws, and sort of like stumbled over the line, but fortunately, so did the other team. So in the end, we won the division by I think 4 points from Borough. I think.
Was Grimsby at home in that run? I remember loads of people turn up to watch us play Grimsby. Yeah.
Draw. Oh God. Yeah, I remember. I think it was the Witten getting a late penalty against Wolves. Was it?
Wolves.
Again, another great moment. But yeah, this game, you're right. After you think, I think we did. I'm not sure we played brilliantly well in this game. And I think it was a really tight game, and 3-2 it could have gone either way, I'm sure. But as Norwich do now, this can be seen this season. You just, as I said before, you just found a way to win. And brilliant at the end, scenes superb. You're right. At that stage, you thought, we're going to do it, and well, fortunately, we did.
We did. So let's go to the 16th of April. Let's bring it up to closer to nearer times now. 16th of April 2013. So it's a Tuesday night. It's a 7:45 kickoff. If you're at this game, you'll know all about this game because, well, you only had to be at 8 minutes of this game. But yeah, so Mick McCarthy was the town manager, and we were facing Ian Holloway's Crystal Palace.
Tell you what, and that's a good look at the Palace side. That's a decent side. Decent.
Great team. Typical crowd for 2012. I think if you're looking, we're down to 17 and a half. But we were before the game, we were in 17th place. It was our 43rd league game. So we'll see how the game goes, just to see whether we think we might be safe at the end. Let's go through the Palace team. So Julian Speroni in goal. Argentinian.
I think so. Yeah, I believe so.
It makes me think, have we faced many Argentinian goalkeepers? Don't know. Joe Ward. Obviously, we were linked with him, weren't we? When Jewel Out was there.
Yeah.
Jonathan Parr.
Yeah.
And then I got bored of putting the first names in, so you can go with the rest. So Ramage.
I think it's Peter Ramage, isn't it?
Yeah.
He has played for QPR. Yeah.
Their captain was Delaney.
Yeah.
He was a great player, wasn't he?
Oh, I like Delaney. I quite like Delaney. Yeah, heart on his sleeve type sort of guy, wasn't he? Yeah, you saw what you got with Delaney. Yeah.
He was another mutual consent deal that left the club, and then he ended up playing in the Premier League for quite a while.
Oh, for Palace, really well. Really, I think a bit of a crowd favourite. I think.
I've no idea how to pronounce this guy's surname.
Dick Choi, isn't it?
Dick Choi, is it?
Yeah, Kagasho, Dick Choi. Yeah,
Dick Choi. I was going to say Dick Kakoy. Dick Kakoy. Johnny Williams.
Yeah, player, love him. Yeah,
Moritz or Morris.
I think he's Brazilian. I think he's Andre Moritz. I believe he's Brazilian.
Andre Moritz.
Don't remember.
Tell you what, these next three players that they had played. Balassi.
Yannick Bolasie, now of Everton, I think. Yeah, or was. Maybe
Wilfred,
not now.
Wilfred Zaha.
Yeah. Glenn Murray.
And Glenn Murray.
Look where I got on the bench.
What a name. So his surname's Richards. You want to tell us what his first name was?
Jazz Richards. Jazz. And look who else is on the bench. Bloody only Kevin Phillips, for Christ's sake.
Kevin Phillips, and is that Aaron Wilbraham as well?
Yeah. I mean, I remember I was sitting. I weren't sitting in my usual seat for this game. I think I was with clients or so. Not in a box, but I was in the. We went to the centre spot for a meal beforehand, a meal, and then we had those seats in front of the boxes, but it's outside, front of the boxes. So I was quite close to the play, really close to the play, and what really impressed me was that first half before the damage was done. I was speaking with a couple of guys with me, and they said, "Oh, he's a great player." And that was like Johnny Williams. Oh, that Williams is a player, isn't he? And then another guy said, "I also like that Parr left back. Don't they link up well together?" Little, you think, "Oh yeah, they really did." But go for the town side because there's some right players in this side. Go on.
So was Mick sitting with you then, or was he in the? I thought he was in the dugout, but it sounds like he was sitting over there, getting a few.
Yeah, we spotted him. Yeah, I said I'll drop Mick an email in the morning. I'll just tip him off about those two.
Now, this is the team that's in transition with McCarthy, isn't it? I think when you kind of look at some of the players we go down. So we've got Loach in goal. Yeah. Stearman and Cresswell as your fullbacks.
What I do remember this game is other than the goals is a tackle that Stearman did on Williams. And that might have been the start of Williams' bloody injuries because he absolutely cleaned him out. The ball.
Absolutely. I can't remember that.
Oh, mate. Well, I was right again because I was sitting right in front of me. He absolutely destroyed him. Hell of a tackle. Yeah.
You can hear Graham turn off now. So Chambers isn't at right back. Obviously, we've got Stearman in on loan from Wolves. So Chambers is in there with Tommy Smith as centre halves. Yeah. And then look at this industrious midfield of Garan Endor, Luke Hyam, Carlos Edwards, who's now joint manager of Woodbridge Town or something. Yeah. And then this guy, I know that we completely differ on.
Stop it with you. Yeah. If that guy could only have applied himself, is that the word? I don't know.
So his name is J. Emmanuel Thomas, and the very few things that I agreed with Mick McCarthy was about when he, Mick used to love the Didsy this, Scusy that, Chambo that. I'm going to keep going, Dave. I'm not going to be put off by what's going on the other screen. But he refused to call Jet. He called him J. Emmanuel Thomas. And,
I know he did, idiot. But the guy had so much talent. And he again, in a fairly drab season, all right. This is a season where McCarthy had been in not a full season. He joined in November, and to be fair, he'd pulled us. Well, we'll get on to how many goals we conceded. I think it's safe to say it tightened us up, hasn't he?
Without a doubt.
But in that season, maybe not this game. This game was perhaps a bit of an outlier, as Ben would say, in this season. But Jet could do stuff that you just get you off your seat. Although, all right, then he could not lose concentration, let a 5-yard ball under his foot. But some of the stuff he could do was, and you just thought, God, why can't you, just apply it, But
he wasn't scared to take a shot, and you could have shots raining in from 50 yards, but none of them hit the target.
I can't believe he got any game time at all under McCarthy. Yeah. None at all. But I think
now one of the things about Jet in this game was that I think there was I believe the young people call it beef. There was a bit of beef, I think, after this game between Jet and Yannick Bolasie. So I think they were sharing Keek videos of themselves rapping and stuff.
Yeah. But
you're right.
Finish the side.
You're right with Clack. So we had an agricultural forward line of Frank Newell and Daryl Murphy.
Frank the Tank. God, jeez, look at that. You forget some of these players. Look who's on our bench, for God's sake. Patrick Quiz-Norba. Forgot about him totally.
Some people say that he only made one appearance for Town, but he played a few more times here because Norba, not many, but Wordsworth or Woody as he was called.
I used to quite like him as well. But again, I
Yeah.
quite like that sort of languid left foot type players. I quite like that. But again, he wasn't a McCarthy. I think he had a bit of injuries as well like that. But I think he's at Wimbledon now, I believe. I think he's at
Is
Wimbledon.
he?
Yeah.
And the other guy who came with a lot of promise, Elliot Hewitt,
Yeah.
was the other sub.
Elliot Hewitt, yeah.
Now,
I know he's Notts County. He was at Notts County. I don't know.
was he at Colchester?
Yeah, he's at Colchester for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure where he is now.
So you've got a great view where you're sitting and stuff like that, eating your prawn sandwiches. I'm stuck in the Sir Alf Ramsey lower, and obviously all of the action kind of happened up the other end. It's one of these games.
So I was at the end near the so I was just really below the away, up the end near the away supporters. So again, all that action was a little bit away from me, unfortunately.
And they got so much action in such a short space of time in this game that everything else kind of the memory goes. Can't really think.
It's weird because with I know I'd been to Derby a couple of weeks before when we said before that famous last minute goal from Carlos Edwards.
Were you in an executive box then or director's box, weren't you?
Yeah, I told you that story. Yeah. I won't get into detail. We'll get to that game at some point.
But I think the point I'm trying to make is that do you actually ever sit, with the common people?
This was these seats I was sitting in were fairly open to the elements, mate. There was nothing corporate about these.
Were they padded?
Oh, they might have been. No, I don't think they were. No, I don't think they were. No.
I'm being harsh on you.
I know you are, but look, I'll roll with it. I can take that. But I didn't have the best of views. But look at that Palace side. You looked at Arsenal. You think, Christ, we're going to get turned over royally tonight. Look at the pace in their side. But yeah, we sort of blew them away, really, didn't we? It was a really odd game.
Well, I remember that all I kind of remember is that Palace were riding high. Yeah, but I think
they were in this game for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. They were in the top 6, but I think they were on a bad run. I think they were coming to us on a bad run, but they were certainly in the playoff places. And from what I remember, is that they kind of dominated the first 20 minutes. And I don't think until the 37th minute that their keeper was really involved. Speroni.
Don't think he was.
Did he have he had his tracky bottoms on?
He always did, didn't he?
Yeah. What do you feel about that?
No, I don't hold with that. No, we should get their knees dirty and stuff, shouldn't they? Really? Yeah.
Richard Wright and Paul Cooper, did either of those wear tracky bottoms?
Never.
But I'm sure Paul Cooper wore them.
Right, done. Well, I'm not getting involved in that.
Yeah. So in the 37th minute, the ball goes forward and Speroni is about 5 yards outside of his box. Controls the ball on his chest. I think it's fair to say that this is a sort of a South American style of goalkeeping, would you say?
Yeah, it's not great, is it?
You're not going to get Scott Loach 5 yards outside his penalty area.
No.
He chests it, and the ball comes down, and before he can clear it, Noble comes in, nicks the ball off him, and goes around, and he just about hits the target, but he shoots into an empty net, and that was his first town goal. So you're thinking 1-0 up, we go up, and we get to the 45th minute, and I think they say there's going to be 2 minutes of injury time, probably because of Johnny Williams and that tackle with Stearman that you were saying. And what I like is there's Tanner on the attack and Endor's in the middle. And I liked Endor. I think he was a big unit. He was quite skillful. I mean, he played for St Etienne. He came from St Etienne on loan. He's in the middle of the park and he just cushions the ball down into Cresswell's path. Cresswell, and the ball bounces up, and Cresswell's not the tallest of players, so he then has to kind of head it down to head it in the direction that he wants to, but he heads it brilliantly just forward of it himself, and he gets about 30 yards out, and he fires like a left foot rocket.
That is a thunderburst. That one does constitute a thunderburst. It just sits up beautifully for him. It's a good bit of skill because, yeah, you're right. The ball, from memory, the ball bounces up, and he sort of heads it forward, and he just meets it in his stride absolutely perfectly. And it's one of those ones where, when you just put your foot through it and you make absolute perfect contact, then you're in. Absolute rocket. What a goal that was.
Do you think
there can't be many better goals?
I think it was goal of the season. And I'm pretty certain it was. Yeah.
It must have been. Good God. Yeah.
It would have been a great goal to beat that. But do you think Speroni would have saved it if he didn't have his tracky bottoms on? Do you think they hindered him a bit in his movement in the air?
I don't think he'd have saved that. No, I don't think so.
Suddenly we're there thinking, we're going in 1-0 up. We're quite happy with that. And then it's 2, and everybody's really happy.
Days.
So people are now nipping down down to get a burger or a pie or whatever. And Palace kick off. straight from the kickoff. They play the ball back, and Frank is on fire at this point. He chases it down. He nicks the ball off Ramage. Ramage, in my opinion, seems to get the ball stuck under his foot. You know when you do that, and you just can't kick it.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. Shell shocked, I think.
Newball is like a
possessed.
a greyhound on steroids. Just takes the ball off him. He goes into the box and he rolls the ball under Speroni. We've gone from going in at 1-0 up to 3-0 up, and going down and sharing a pint with your friends and stuff like that. I remember having a conversation with my mate, and you were just kind of like standing there,
the hell
in
happened
a kind
there?
of a happy shell shocked.
It was a hell of a game, wasn't it? And then he just closed it out, and I can't remember. The second half was a bit of a non-event, but I mean, I think Phillips had a chance. I seem to remember Phillips at the post. I think
that was about the only thing. Yeah, he came on. There was always a worry, but when you're 3-0 up, I think we were quite
even us at that season. Yeah, and it just shows. I mean, the stat you've put here, how he tightened us up. Because don't forget, before and just as McCarthy came, we'd conceded like 6 at Blackpool, 6 at Leicester, I think, another 6 at Leicester. Yeah. I didn't realise this. So after this game, we conceded 6 goals in the last 14 games, having let in 51 in the previous 29. I mean, you got to say, he sorted us out that season, didn't he? He really did.
That's the sort of thing that we needed when Hurst went. Yeah, a manager like Mick McCarthy to come in and just shore us up. Yeah,
I know, perfect, absolute perfect. But that probably wasn't likely to happen. I think I said at the time, the manager, that would have been the perfect scenario for him, and arguably a similar scenario to what he came in when Jewell left.
I'll put it to you that under the Mick McCarthy era, and this isn't having a well, maybe it is, but not intentionally having a slight at Mick McCarthy, but there aren't many games, you're going to struggle to stand out, and this one is a standout game. Yeah, you knew if you were there, and you saw Frank on top of his game.
Yeah, the great goal from Cresswell. No, you're right, Stat. There really wasn't. There wasn't that many memorable games. I mean, the other I can remember. What was the one? I know we've covered this. The late 2 goals against Derby, Berra, and goal of the season from Johnny Williams. That was goal of the season as well. That was another game that you remember. I think perhaps it was probably a season after this. Yeah. And you think, that was a great game. But you're right, they were few and far between, really. So there was a lot of gritty 1-0s, 2-1s, and not pretty. But this was all good stuff.
If you were making Mick McCarthy's era at Ipswich into a TV programme, do you think it would be one of those gritty Scandinavian thrillers?
With subtitles? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the upshot of this is, of course, don't forget, Palace obviously recovered pretty well because they got in the playoffs and won the playoffs, for Christ's sake. Beat Watford and got promoted, and I assume have been up ever since, I think.
We went from I'll take your word for it as usual. So. We went up from 17th to 13th, so we were on 56 points with 3 games to go, and 22nd relegation place was on 51 points. So we needed that win, really.
Yeah, well, it shows what the division is like this season, doesn't it?
Yeah. So now let's go to, we've got 4 birthdays.
Go on, who we got?
On the 12th of April is Joey Garner. Is 31.
Joe, big bad Joe.
I don't really like him.
I liked him playing for us. I must admit, I liked him playing for us. Don't forget, I mean, only one season. I think he still just about made double figures. Did he on 9 goals? He scored goals. I mean, Christ, imagine being there now, having 9 or 10 goals to your name. You'd be comfortably the top scorer.
I think what I like about him is he puts himself about.
Oh yeah,
I like that. If I was a manager and I've got an agent coming in, saying I've got a few players. What sort of players you're looking for in my scouts? I'd be saying, get me a player who can put himself about. I think my team would probably have a number of red cards, but I'd kind of like the Taricos,
I agree.
Roy Keane. But what I would say about him, he went down too easy. He looked for free kicks too much, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, I do get your point. There was people around where I sit. He's always on the ground, and he did seem to be that way. But I think he came in for a bit of rough handling and stuff. Let's just say he certainly gave as good as he's got. But I agree, he did at times seem to go down easily. But yeah, certainly could have done with someone like him in the trenches, as they say this season, for sure.
Do you think if he was in the trenches with you, he'd be singing Three Little Birds?
No, I don't think he would somehow. No, I don't think he would. Yeah.
Now, here's a player. We had him on loan from Glasgow Celtic, Jerry Craney. He will be 49 on the 13th.
So mid-90s?
Scored once.
Mid-90s?
I think a bit later.
Really?
Yeah, I want to say
97, 98.
Yeah, around then. I think.
97.
Yeah.
Vaguely remember. I mean, how many games stat? 3, 4?
I think he played about 5 or 6.
Oh,
I think he scored 1 goal.
Okay. No, doesn't. I mean, I remember him playing. I vaguely doesn't. Yeah, I remember him. It would have been that season. I remember him playing in that. It seems stupid. You remember the shirt he played? You know that shirt with that which looked like it'd run in the wash. That one.
Yeah. The dip dye one.
That one. That's the one. Yeah.
So that was, we're talking about 95, 96 or 96, 90. Yeah, around just beyond the mid 90s, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Didn't make much of an impact on me, I've got to say.
Well, will the next guy make an impact on you? Shane O'Connor on the 14th will be 29.
Mate, just remember him one game in the snow. I think if all our games had been played in the snow, it'd have been our player of the season, wouldn't he? He was outstanding against Leicester in the snow. He was like a Roberto Carlos, wasn't he? He was superb.
He was superb, and I think maybe it was the Irish environment that brought him. He'd been brought up in it and put him in good stead for this game. Maybe
he was obviously in short sleeves and stuff. Everyone else was in thermals, and he was in short sleeves and bloody loving it.
Lovely out here.
Loving that.
Do you know what I like about Shane O'Connor?
Go on.
So Shane O'Connor's birthday is the 14th, and so he shares the same birthday as I do.
Hey.
So before that, I used to share my birthday. Well, I still do share my birthday, but with Andy Marshall.
Ooh. So now, if someone asks you what Ipswich player from history do you share your birth, clearly a Shane O'Connor. Isn't it?
Yeah, I'm never going to say Andy Marshall.
No,
although no doubt you'd probably say that Andy Marshall was better than Paul Cooper.
I'm just saying, I'm not.
All right, how about this one? Andy Marshall or Matteo Serini?
Ooh, Matteo Serini.
Yeah. He was a let's forget about all the other stuff in his life, but he was a good-looking man who knew where the cameras were when he was making a save.
He liked the Hollywood save, as they say. I used to like that the way he used to kick it out of his hands as well. He had that sort of technique about him. Yeah, certainly Serini over Marshall every day of the week. Yeah.
Now we're building up to, I would say, one of my top 10 players of the last 20 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Great player. And what I want, well, let's say who it is. So Sisto Peralta.
Yeah.
He's going to be 40 on the 16th of April.
Yeah.
Now, he's on Twitter at Mumo Peralta. And I think as many people as possible should wish him a happy birthday for his 40th birthday, because he was a great player. We got him on loan from Inter Milan.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, he was. He was for, ironically, in the season we got relegated. But, doing that, I don't know, that ridiculous 8 wins out of 9 or something like that. He was outstanding, wasn't he? Absolutely. I think he was for the rest of the season. We shouldn't have gotten this space at that position we got ourselves in by the end of, when it was January or February, whenever it was. We should never have gone down. But, yeah, history shows we did. But, yeah, he was outstanding. I mean, it's a good question. Who won Player of the Year that year?
What, the year we got relegated, 2001-2?
Yeah. Marcus Bent? Him? Bent scored quite a few goals in that run, didn't he? Who would that have been? There's a question for you, Stat.
Well, let's have a look. We got I know that's the 2000-2001 team we went through earlier.
So that year we got relegated.
We're going to give it to Matt Holland?
Yeah, good shout. Yeah. I'll give it to him anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ulrich Le Pen?
Probably not.
Yeah,
no, probably not.
But Sisto Peralta, there's
anyway.
many things I like about him. First of all, is that he had that continental flair.
He did.
Secondly, there are not many Ipswich players that have got an X in their name, which I also liked as well.
Love. Neil Alexander. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry that.
Yeah. short sleeves and gloves. I remember him playing with as
Yeah,
well.
he loved
Yeah.
the short sleeves and glove combo,
Yeah.
didn't he? Yeah.
So yeah, he'll be 40 and on the 16th. So yeah, make sure at Mumo Peralta.
I shall look out for that stat, mate. It's good. It was good this week. Do you know what I like about this week? We chose the games. It's a pretty good. I think probably the best, one of the best we've done cross section of games across different eras.
Well, to be fair, would you say that the director had a cull on one of the games you wanted to go for, which was the 14th of April 1981, which surprisingly you were picking
yeah,
an
people give me enough stick about this, but I will give this a quick shout. There was one game I could have done. It was, I mean, the game, the away game at Villa that season, 80-81. After, we'd been up to Villa Park 3 days before, got beat heartbreakingly, got beat by Man City in extra time, and yeah, this falls in this week. Famously went to Villa, which was billed at the time, and everyone thought it was at the time. Whoever won that game would be the title decider. And obviously we won. Brazil and Gates scored. I think Shaw scored a really good goal for them. And but sadly it didn't quite happen. But yeah, that was. I thought I'd done enough. I've done enough games from 80-81, and I think Shaky and Green Door, this old house, was still number one. So I thought, now I've got to move on.
Did you have any number ones this week? I forgot.
I did actually. Yeah, and I forgot. So 1976, the Man United game stat.
It's not the year I was hoping you were going to go for, but yeah.
Okay, no, I'll go for
Yeah.
no. Oh dear. Here's a clue. Are you up your Eurovision song? It was a rare win for the UK in the Eurovision Song Contest.
Brotherhood of Man.
Yes, you
Hang
know
on. I don't. I'm trying to think of the song. Save all your kisses for me.
Oh, and I will start.
Oh, there you go. You set me up nicely there.
Look at that. And the next one. So the Liverpool game. April 2001, 10th of April 2001. How can I put this? Another band that had won a competition, a televised competition.
Oh, right. Okay. So was it? Oh, I think I remember Liberty X.
No, similar though.
Similar. Not S. No. Oh.
I'll give you a clue.
Yeah.
One of the singers is now in a very famous soap opera.
Oh.
The most famous soap opera of them all, probably. Or the longest soap opera of them all. Set in Manchester.
I don't watch soap operas, but we're going to say Coronation Street, which that much I know. And so somebody... What's the first letter of the name of the band?
H.
Oh. Ain't got a clue.
It's pure and simple stat. Come on.
Oh, Hearsay.
Kim Marsh in Corrie.
Is she in there?
Yeah, she's in Corrie, Kim Marsh.
One of the guys in Hearsay, didn't he look a bit like Shrek?
He did, unfortunately. I think he did, yeah.
I know the one now, yeah.
Oh, well, I can't remember his name. Was this the one you were thinking of? 11th of April, 1992. This is a tune. Absolute tune. It was number one for ages. I mean, not quite as long as Bryan Adams or Wet, 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 but it was number one for a couple of months.
April 1992.
Good tune, mate. Yeah.
Throw some bone.
Throw some bone. It's not your brother, it's your
mother. I thought it was rhyming. Sister.
Yeah, that's the second part of it. First one.
Shakespeare's sister.
Hey, stay. That's a tune.
Stay. Yeah.
Stay. Shakespeare's sister. That is a tune.
One of them was in Bananarama.
That certainly was. And the last one, it's an all-time classic. It's I think it was a remix, or certainly a reissue of "Let's Get Ready to Rumble" by Ant and Dec.
Wow. Technically, they were PJ and Duncan back then, but there you go.
Okay, it was Ant and Dec. I think
was it?
Ant. I think this was actually.
2000. You're on about the 2013 one.
Yeah, remix, mate. The remix, mate. Not the original PJ and not the original.
Were they related?
Baker Groove.
PJ and Duncan, were they related to Ant and Dec?
I'm pretty sure they were second cousins, something like that. I think.
You find things out. When we finish the pod and stuff, and I'll go and speak to Mrs. Stat, and I kind of share with her your knowledge and stuff like that.
Really?
She soon walks out of the room, but there you go.
So nothing changes then. Nothing changes. Mate, enjoyed that this week. Again, I enjoy them all, but this was quite nice. It was a really good
spread.
cross section, I think. It will appeal to all our audience. Well, certainly it'll appeal to Jules and Ian anyway.
So next week we'll do another one, and you're going to go from 4 from 1980 to 81. But if I can wrestle a few other seasons there, we're going to go into the business end of the season now, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Trophies are going to be picked up. Teams are going to get relegated.
Semi-finals are going to get lost. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Fantastic, mate. So a little bit of housekeeping. The next show, I believe hang on, let me go. Where are we? So we're recording this on a Friday. The preview show with Rich Harron. I think Ben was on it this week. Ben
he was, yeah.
Very good. This week. I think, it was good. That's out. I think that must be out today. The flagship show will be out on Sunday. I think I'm on it this week, and with, I think, Rich and Mikey, I think Stat's appearing on the flagship show coming up soon, I believe. I heard that rumour.
The week after, I think, yeah.
Week after. Stat, we can reach you Twitter-wise on, well, everyone knows your Twitter handle.
Yeah, they know. They can soon find me, yeah.
You can find me at David Diamond 3. If you've enjoyed it, please leave us a like and some kindly messages. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Well, it'd be a first. No. We've had some great comments on Facebook. So
we really have. I really have. I have some really nice comments. I think last week. I think that really struck a chord. Certainly the 78 semi-final struck a chord with a lot of our older listeners. A lot of our more mature listeners out there. I think that really stuck a chord with them.
Experienced. I'd prefer it called
experienced.
You never know. Yeah. Some of them could have had a bit of a shady past, so you got to be experienced.
Experienced. There you go. Brilliant, mate. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. Stat, if you sat behind, well, we've already had this conversation. If you stick behind tomorrow after the game, if you wait a good few minutes after the game, maybe going into like an hour or so, Stat will be the last man sitting down with his head in his hands in the Sir Alf Lower, won't you, Stat?
I will. Yeah, I'm going to do it long enough. Is that
kind of your protest or not? Is that like silent protest or?
No, it's just me being an attention seeker. I'm just gonna sit there. Yeah, I know. I'm just going to sit there, hopefully, probably for about an hour. Not sure whether I'm going to cry. Crying might be too much, but I certainly might kind of mutter and shake my head a little bit, and hopefully get picked up on Sky Sports News.
I think it could be a strange old atmosphere down there tomorrow, because I know people have said, and I've been amongst those people, have said, oh yeah, let's just get it over with. We've all accepted it. It's going to happen. But when that trap door finally opens and closes, mate, I reckon it'll be some so somber reflection, I reckon. Yeah, sad day. It will be a sad day.
Do you think that in typical Ipswich Town fan style that the fans might start falling out with each other? That some people have this let's embrace it and sing songs and enjoy it. And
I'm not one of them. I've got to say, look, I think it's great and I think it's brilliant and I think the away support have been brilliant. But mate, I'm not with one of them. I'm really not. I honestly think, and I hope I'm wrong, but if people think we're going to go down next season and it'll be a cakewalk in League One, I think, and I really hope I'm wrong, that we might be in for a nasty surprise. But look, there's a lot between now and the close season. Who he gets in, who knows? But I don't think it's going to be that straightforward. But
no, I'm with you. I think I'll have a little look over my shoulder as I walk down the steps at the pitch and think, that's it, relegation. We will have an R against our name. So anyway, let's finish on a high. So you were going to promise that you were going to sing the verse of and the chorus of Three Little Birds for us.
I really wasn't, and I'm really not. I can't bring myself to that. Anyway, mate, brilliant. Enjoy tonight.
Yeah, cheers, Dave.
Catch up next week. Cheers, Stan.
Take care.
Please. Bye.
Even better back to Stewart. Oh, he turns to defend sweetly. Round the goalkeeper and scores a magnificent goal at the top end.